Right, let's briefly touch on tonight's performance. Obviously, it was professional. It was important we got the win. It's important we win the group. How many times have I sat here and said that we have to get out of this group and avoid the playoffs and avoid the Champions League teams? West Ham did that tonight, and I feel that we did it in a way. I mean, we can talk about the game, and again, I struggled to watch parts of it coming home from work. But just in terms of the second half, I just felt that we controlled the game at the right moments. I don't think Vienna posed any type of issues to us. If, in all fairness, I don't think there was any movement in beyond. I think that's probably where they would have got luck against us. The times that they've created all look dangerous. They're in the transitions when we've lost the ball, and Mark Noble's lost it. But generally speaking, I just feel that taking key players off, Jarrod Bowen, Thomas Souček, I know Vlasic came off as well, Lanzini came off. I just feel that we are managing these games better. And in terms of going into a game, getting the result, and then looking to Sunday, you think Declan's not played for the full 90. So important. Souček needed a rest. Of course he did. I'm surprised he actually played in this game. Probably would have started with Krau and Nobes, or Kraut and Lanzini. Mikel Antonio again is another one. Creswell, Johnson, the list could go on. So from that perspective, that's positive. In terms of the actual performance itself, again, I think West Ham are trying to adapt in terms of when we're playing with the false nine. And look, credit to Moyes. I do think he's trying to find a system and a way of doing it. I think where it was effective in terms of having Manuel Lanzini is a player that is comfortable in dropping deep, picking up the ball. And I suppose you could look at Noble as well as a player that wants to collect the ball from deep. And we've seen the centre-back split and him pick it up. So that's the way that West Ham need to go. If you lose Mikel Antonio, I think too many times this season, how picky am I being because we're fourth in the league? But there's too many times this season where we've gone long to Mikel Antonio. He's lost the aerial duel. They've recovered it, and we're immediately on the back foot. And in games like Wolves, where you're out of shape and you want to go and press them and play a bit higher, that causes us issues. But I felt that in terms of tonight and in terms of the personnel, the build-up play was better. In terms of getting in the final third, and our press was very good, in my opinion. I think we went with a three-man press from the front. It's exactly what we needed to do to create opportunities. And I thought as well, I spoke about Lanzini, who I think is a real key player in terms of how West Ham can adapt against teams that are pressing high against us. And there has to be a way of kind of bringing him into the mould. Now, I know you're not going to get rid of that double pivot of Souček and Declan Rice. It's functional. It's fantastic. It's got a good relationship in terms of when to go and when to sit, the dynamic and the spaces between the defence. This could go on. But I wonder whether in some games we sit there and say we have to sacrifice a Ben Rama, as painful it is and as much as a fan of him as I am, and say, let's bring in Manu Lanzini, let's get him dropping deep, let's build the play. And that I think that's coming to the fore, and I think we're seeing that with Lanzini. But to my initial point, Krau, I thought Krau was very good, actually. And again, I think we're too early into his West Ham career, in fact, probably his whole career, to say that we've got a real fair perspective on him. But in terms of what I've seen against Manchester United and in spells tonight, yes, he's not the most mobile player, but I'm really happy with what I'm seeing in terms of him on the ball and beating players and progressing the ball from deep. I think that is something that's important. It's something that Declan has in his game. If we're going to talk about a genuine rotation option, you need a player to come in and be able to do that. And I think defensively as well, he tracks his man. He's not an intense athletic player, but he's got that discipline as well. I think you need for a defensive midfielder, and he's got the ball progression that I've spoken about. So he is an option long term that I think West Ham do need to give him minutes under his belt. Play him against Zagreb if you need to. I've obviously spoken about playing under 23s and really rotating heavily for that game. And I think that's important in terms of the perspective of December as a month. But I think he needs minutes. I think there's players out there tonight. Vlasic again needs minutes. I thought it was a fantastic ball for Yarmolenko. Appreciate I haven't seen the whole game, so I can't speak purely about his performance. And again, people are saying it's hit and miss. But I really earmark players like Krau, players like Vlasic. They just need minutes to get used to the system, to play there. And I think they'll improve. And we need to be able to depend on them, I personally think, long term. Probably touch on it just briefly, but obviously Sonny Perkins come in. I was quite impressed with him in terms of build-up play, in terms of his movement. It gives us something different. Speak about playing false nine. I think that mobility that he has, and I think the freedom that he had, I guess maybe just unshackled because he's an under-23 player. It's a different system. They're doing fantastically well as well. But just building up and being a little bit more fluid. Again, that I'm not saying it's an option for West Ham. I'm pretty sure he's not going to play in the Premier League, but it's good to see that type of player coming through. So, yeah, back to the original point, it's a professional performance. It's a good performance. We've got everything that we really needed from that game in terms of resting key players, getting the win, getting through the Europa League group stage. And I think as well, what was clever from Moyes was to play some of the senior players. We're talking Pablo Fornals, Ben Rama for 30 minutes because you need to keep them fresh. And I think that type of attitude, that type of mentality in a game like that, going into Manchester City is important. And Moyes recognised that. So I am looking forward to the Manchester City game. I know it's tough. I know these type of games are tentative. Some people get on the edge of their seat because maybe West Ham aren't being as adventurous as they could be. I don't think we'll go toe to toe with Manchester City. Of course not. I think we'll pick our moments, but I'm happy to know that we're going into those final or those 3 games next week with a fit team. And I think that's the most important thing. And I think that will pay off long term. So that's my opinion on that game against Vienna. I'm really happy with the performance. Let me know your thoughts. If you do enjoy this video, please subscribe to the West Ham Way. Check out the Patreon account as always. The West Ham Way event is on the 18th of December. Nearly said November. I'm living in the past there. Check it out. They've got Carlton Cole's brilliant guest, obviously, and the West Ham Way website as well. They've got loads of articles up. Check that out. I'll be trying to be a bit more regular with it, if I'm honest, from my perspective. But if you've got any ideas about types of things that you want to see, I can do the reviews, I can do the previews, that's fine. But if there's anything else that needs to be thrown into the mix and you genuinely want to see it, let me know and I'll try my best. And if you're watching this and you've got ideas, put it in the comment section. Take care and I will see you whenever. Probably